What if the most powerful psychedelic experience of all isn't a substance, but the consciousness you're in right now? Let's jump into this philosophical concept. But first, if you are new here and you're into all things mystical, make sure to like and subscribe for more videos like this. How often do you actually question your baseline reality? It's very similar to when we dream. Very oftentimes, even though strange things happen, we don't stop and hesitate and ask, is this a dream? And because of that, we stay lost in forgetfulness. Oftentimes, we can do that in this reality as well. The less we question it, the less we notice awareness behind it all. And this isn't a new concept. There is some belief that perhaps our baseline reality is actually altered. We only perceive a very small fraction of information. There's so much information out there we actually can't take in through our senses. In meditation, we actually observing awareness itself, observing the breath, observing the present, and we begin to notice things that through daily life and constant thinking we usually breeze past. And this is because stillness is a doorway for deeper insight. And ironically, the more into stillness we get, sometimes, often, especially in long meditation retreats, the more psychedelic reality gets. And we realize that we are the most powerful psychedelic. Our own awareness, our own consciousness, I would say probably the most powerful psychedelic experience a human can have is enlightenment. And deep realization of truth is extremely altered in the sense that it's very different than waking state of consciousness. So ironically, the very fascinating thing is that there's two ways of thinking of things. We can think of the brain as filtering reality and perceiving some degree of that, or we can think of it as creating reality. And these are two very schools of thought. That's something you can only find out through very deep, direct experience. And I'm not here to tell you to believe either one. What I'm trying to prompt you is to question, to sit with yourself in deep silence and quiet the mind and find out for yourself. The best way to learn about the mind is through working with it in stillness, in meditation. And for that, we have to reduce the mental noise and reduce the thoughts so that we can observe consciousness more purely and solidified into its essence. Another interesting thing to consider is how oftentimes very deep psychedelic experiences such as DMT and 5-MeO can often feel more real than waking reality. I've heard many people give these accounts, including my own experience, where 5-MeO DMT were so real, so much more real than this, that in comparison, this reality seemed almost dreamlike. Another very fascinating thing to juggle in your mind is how, if we think about yesterday, how much it seems very dreamlike compared to now, and how each moment it's like a passing dream. Now, of course, this is getting into Tibetan dream yoga, which I'm a big fan of, really questioning, is this reality a dream? And the more we do that, the more we start to awaken, not only in this reality, but also in the dream states, and we can get into lucid dreaming and doing dream yoga. Ultimately, what we want to achieve is full awareness in all three states of consciousness: waking states, or so-called waking states, dreaming, and deep sleep. Deep sleep oftentimes being the most challenging. That's sleep yoga, but I'll save that for another video. Furthermore, the most effective way of exploring this, in my opinion, is through direct experience. And I'm just sharing some of the things that have helped me. For example, something that also has brought more attention to this is what is called hyperlucid dreams, where it's a lucid dream that is more vivid. It starts to get more vivid than waking reality. And as someone that has been doing lucid dreaming heavily since age 12, this has happened a number of times where things start to become more HD, more vivid, more detailed than waking reality, which brings a further emphasis: is this the base reality? What is the base reality? Wouldn't the main aspect of what makes something a base reality would be that it would be the most solidified, the most HD, but when other experiences such as very deep lucid dreaming or very profound psychedelic experiences start to have that feeling more deeply, then it really highlights the fact that is this really the base reality? Especially if you've ever experienced something like 5-MeO and dissolving into pure light, pure source. That, to me personally, has felt the most real out of anything. And this is the message I've been getting over time as someone who has been very into meditation, lucid dreaming, using psychedelics for spiritual purposes, plant medicines, and yogic practices, things of this nature, is the more time goes on, the more I start to feel that the most powerful trip we are on is being a human here on Earth, right? We can take mushrooms and see all these beautiful colors and really go deep in there, but the trippiest thing of all is just being a human here in this meat suit, floating around space in this hovering rock and calling ourselves by a name and doing humanly things. It's very fascinating. The more I have, the more this reality seems like the most beautiful trip. And sometimes maybe it's not about seeing incredible visuals. Maybe it's about deeply savoring each moment of this reality, really fully participating in this human experience, savoring breathing, being with people you love, and savoring smiles, and really enjoying as much as we can the little things, the little moments. And to me, that's the most beautiful trip. And my personal favorite way of expressing these insights, this beautiful journey as Juliana here on Earth, is through painting and creating art. So if you are into visionary art, trippy art, spiritual art, I'm going to put some examples on the screen, and if you'd like to check out more, I have prints and originals in the link in the description. If that resonates with you, I also teach meditation classes and creativity classes. If that is something that interests you, I have more information in the link in the description. But thank you for being part of this incredible journey of life and for listening. These are all just fun concepts to experiment with, because oftentimes when something's right in front of our nose, we don't see it. When something's hidden in plain sight, such as what is this awareness and what is this baseline reality, I think those are some of the things that we should put the most emphasis into having curiosity about. So I don't claim to have any answers to any of this. What I do claim is to please have curiosity and have some personal experience and see what you discover. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. Lots of love to all of you. Namaste.